I want to take a few moments and run through some Lightroom shortcut tips. In this video, we're going to cover some basic control of the interface and working in the library module. Just a reminder, many of these shortcuts can be found listed in the menus. This video is not going to be a comprehensive overview of every shortcut available. It's going to be the ones that I think are more useful and certainly worth your time and memorizing. To help you, there's a shortcut guide linked below this video. I think the best place to start is the import dialog box, and oftentimes you can have Lightroom automatically launch when you put in a camera card, the import dialog box, but if you find that not to be true, on Macs you can press Command-Shift-I, or on Windows, Control-Shift-I. That will launch the import dialog box. Then I work through this using the mouse. Let's cancel. To control your interface, there are times where you need to see all of these panels, and there are plenty of times where it works really well to your advantage to hide them and maximize your screen real estate, especially if you're working on a laptop with a smaller screen. To hide the left and right panels, so this would be the navigator and whatever panel you have on the right, whether you're in the library or the develop module or one of the others, you press Tab. Tab removes those. Now right now I'm on a portrait or a vertical orientation image. That's not too exciting. If we go to a longer or wider aspect ratio image, when I press Tab and hides those panels, you can see that it then gives me a larger image. So I'm using more of my screen real estate to really inspect the image. Pressing Tab again brings those back. If you'd also like to hide the film strip at the bottom, Shift Tab, and that also hides the little panel at the very top that doesn't take up much room, but still Shift Tab will hide all panels. Shift Tab to bring them back. You can work through the different screen modes by pressing Shift F. That toggles you through the various modes from full screen to full screen with toolbar. Pressing just F by itself takes you to the very fullest screen with just your image taking up as much screen real estate as you have. Note, it's important in all of these different screen modes, you can still get into and do things like rating and flagging and picking. For instance, right now I can press the 1 key and that will star this, or I can press the P key to flag this, or I could press the 6 key to set the color to red. I'm going to exit full screen mode by pressing F again and talk about some of the other options you have available to you in the library. For instance, you might want to look at the grid, G. This gives you the grid for the current folder or collection that you're in. If you'd like to increase or decrease the size of the grid, it's simply the plus and minus keys, top right of your keyboard. So minus key makes it smaller, plus key makes it larger. Each of the items in the grid view has a little bit of information. File name, dimensions, what you've rated it, whether or not it's been keyworded, cropped, edited. That's what all of those little icons mean. You can cycle through the view of these different thumbnails by pressing the J key. J gives you, your first option is a very clean look, numbered with some of the icons in the thumbnail itself, as they say. And then again, it gives you the file name and the rating, and any flagging is outside of the thumbnail option. If you'd like to return to the single image view, you can press the E key. Whichever image is selected is the one you'll return to. Tapping I will overlay various information. This is called the info overlay. And you have two options for display here, plus you can turn it off, and you can cycle through those again by just simply pressing I. To change the information displayed in the loop view, go to View, View Options. That's Command J. This gives you drop downs where you can choose what is displayed under the different loop info options. As I mentioned when I was in full screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are used to rate images. I've got a separate video where I talk about my rating system. Generally, I recommend keeping it fairly simple. You can also use the numbers 6, 7, 8, and 9 to set color labels. These again are all listed under Photo, Set Color Labels, 6, 7, 8, 9, and of course Set Rating. Tapping any of those numbers will remove it. Letters, images can be both rated and have a color label as well. If you'd like to reject an image, marking it for deletion, the X key will do that. And then later you can go to Photo, Delete Rejected Photos. If you decide you've made a mistake, you will remove that rejected flag. The other flag you can add is a P for pick. Again, you will remove that. I typically don't use the picks, simply rating and marking those that aren't worth anything at all for deletion. If you'd like to move through the images that you need to rate quickly, you can press the caps lock key to auto advance. So, with caps lock off, if I wanted to rate this image a 2-star, I press 2, and then I press right arrow to go to the next image, press 3, right arrow to go to the next image. If I wanted to move through these faster and not press the right arrow, caps lock will now auto advance. So I'll press 3 and notice that it rated that 3 and it jumped to the next image, ready for me to move forward to the next image automatically. I'm going to return to grid view by pressing the G. I'm going to turn caps lock back off. If I need to select all of these images here, Command A or Control A on Windows. And now I can sync metadata. I could sync settings if I have edited one of them. And of course, I could hit export and export all of them. I typically do not use the file export dialog here because I almost always choose one of my presets that I have ready. If I want to deselect those images selected, Control D on Windows or Command D on Mac. I'm going to hit E to work on a single image again, staying in the library module. If I would like to zoom into this image, it's now Command plus. That will walk through my zooms that I have set up here in the top right corner. So the first one went to fill. Command plus again will go to 1 to 1, and Command plus again will go to 3 to 1, as that's what I've currently have set. You could change this and it would then cycle through. Command minus will zoom you back out, walking backwards through those. That's everything that I use in the library module for keyboard shortcuts. When you're ready to go to the develop module, you press D, and I'll be back in another video very soon to share my keyboard shortcuts for working in the develop module. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching.